spiritual perspective, dear one. It is about holding yourself in a space of your divinity, knowing who you are, knowing that they cannot take your essence unless you allow it. From a more practical point of view, it is much as this channel has shared, although it will be slightly different for you in your country and different in other countries. To claim yourself as a sovereign citizen or a private citizen, depending upon the words used in your language. There are things you can do to put yourself in a position where your assets are protected. This is beyond the understanding of this channel and beyond her ability to translate at this point. But you are moving in the right direction, dear one, to explore what is being uncovered by these people you mentioned. The knowledge they are bringing forth is to assist in freeing humanity. And so you can study some of what they have put forth to gain a deeper understanding of how to move forward, how to protect material possessions and such. The soul level operation of things. For these beings have chosen at a soul level to come into these incarnations to play these shadow roles. Now, they can have activations, awakenings, and change their soul contract and change the roles they play. It is not that they do not have a heart, but it is very much overshadowed or constricted. Yes, so that they can play these shadow roles. For if they would begin to feel, it is very likely that they would change how they are executing their role on planet Earth. It is as if their emotional body is greatly constricted. They have an overlay of sorts where they can appear to be feeling beings. They can appear to express emotion. They can appear to have a heart, but it is a false layer, a false expression. It is very much similar to the one you know as Bill Gates, who appears to be quite compassionate in his expression. He appears to have benevolent intentions. But he is ruled by, controlled by something darker of the shadow. So it is not that these expressions or feelings are not real to him, same as with the Rothschilds, but these feelings and expressions are not coming from a place of true or full knowing. There is a soul knowing of what they are doing. To some degree, there is a human knowing of what they are doing. For some of the practices in which they partake are clearly what you would call evil. And they are not fully unconscious, and so there is a degree of knowing of what they are doing. For some of them, it is more innocent in the sense that there is less human understanding of what they are carrying out. For others, specifically those at the top, those controlling the ones down the line, so to speak, these beings have a much fuller understanding and knowing of what they are doing. Free will, dear one. And so with the passing of the soul essence from the human form, indeed, some souls do choose to go into a darkness, or what you would perceive as a darkness, for their soul growth and mastery, for the furthering of their soul evolution, much as the souls who have come to planet Earth and the density here. Many incarnations here seemed, from the soul point of view, to be coming into great darkness, because the soul knows much light, and coming into great density is a perspective of moving more into darkness. When a soul is leaving a place of density and going into a place of higher frequency, this appears as going into the light. And so, depending on the soul journey, what the soul desires next, what growth or evolution, what expansion or constriction, this depends on the perception as darkness or light. In the expanse of understanding, anything is possible, dear one. However, the choice to be human on this planet puts you into a certain range of timelines, so to speak. Meaning you can access the timelines that are available here on this planet. And so as long as this planet has banks in every country, and it is a common experience, it would be a great deal more challenging to go to a timeline without banks, until this is a more common experience for the collective upon this planet. What would be required if you wish to be on a timeline without banks is quite practical in nature. It would be a move to a deserted place on this planet with very little life. And it would be a quite different way of living. The difference between a parallel world and a timeline is that a parallel world is quite more developed. A timeline is a state of possibility until you are on that timeline and working with that timeline, and then it becomes more developed and solid in your experience. A parallel world is a place where one of your aspects is residing, or part of yourself, as you might understand it, is residing. And from the point of view of that aspect or part of yourself, that world is very much developed, in contrast to a timeline which is still in the state of possibility until you have chosen that timeline, bringing the fullness of yourself and all of your aspects. Of yourself that wishes to have this experience. And so in this parallel world or reality, this part of you is living out that experience. The relevance of having an aspect in an experience like this, while the rest of you, so to speak, is in this reality with Banks, is that this aspect is holding the space for, or holding the possibility that it could come into a timeline without Banks at some future date in your linear understanding and experience of time on planet Earth. And so this aspect is well developed in its experience. And it brings the codes, the information of that experience into your present reality where you do experience Banks. Give me a moment with this channel as I attempt to give her more information. Or this is technology with which she is not familiar. But it is not 0 point energy, it is technology that builds on itself. What you may understand as self-replicating to a degree once the thought and intention is put into motion. It does take a tremendous amount of energy for a weapon like this to work, a tremendous amount of focus, intention. While they are quite well developed in their skill, in their mastery, there are energies that do not wish for them to be able to offer their assistance to planet Earth and the beings on planet Earth. And so they are a target with attempts at destruction. You will notice these beings are never destroyed. They are not able to be destroyed in the way the shadow energies would have intentions for. But there are times where the shadow energies come together with such focus and force that they are able to slow down the efforts of the masters. In these reports that you see or read, the details are sometimes exaggerated, for as they are coming through the channel feels very intensely. The channel feels the pain. The channel feels the battle, or what they perceive as a battle. for in truth it is not. But the channel perceives a battle, and therefore the reports produced by the channel are not 100% accurate. And so they seem quite dramatic and quite intense. In truth, the relevance that these messages have for humans is simply a reminder for the human to stay focused on the light, to stay centered in love and centered within the light of their own hearts. The linear understanding of time, the chaos timeline would be faster. However, the souls that would be able to participate in the ascension process as it is unfolding upon planet Earth at this time would lose this opportunity, for there are some souls who are not yet experiencing an awakened human state, but have indeed come to planet Earth to participate in the ascension process. With the ease and grace timeline, with the slow unfolding of shadow in the public eye, it allows these souls a chance for their human aspects to have an awakening of what is unfolding upon your planet Earth. The ease and grace timeline gives them this chance that a chaos timeline with events unfolding in rapid succession would cause trauma to the human aspect. It would cause the human aspects to go into greater fear and confusion, therefore making it much more difficult for the human aspect to awaken. In most cases, dear one, there are some souls that indeed would go into shock from the human aspect perspective and would have a sudden and quick awakening. But this is a much smaller percentage of souls. It is a way for them to test their mastery. It is a way for them to test their limits, to see how far they can go, so to speak. It is not necessarily training their souls. It is more working with density and mastering the human body in this density. While some souls are leaving through ascension, you can choose to stay here for a bit longer to assist, to explain to others what has happened, to bring forth knowledge about what these souls can do on their own ascension path. For our current timeline is not unfolding into a mass exodus or all ascending in the form of dematerialization from your planet. Many will experience ascension through the human body while staying on the planet. And this will look like your ascended version of yourself on this planet Earth maintaining a very high frequency, while others are still growing, others are still ascending or coming out of great density. It is a way of holding space for those who are still working with their ascension, who are still working with their shadow and healing themselves.